Are you ready to change your life, but don't know how to start? Is your stress and worries keeping you awake at night? Have you been battling grief, anxiety, or depression all alone? Have you lost touch with your own sense of being or spirituality? Soul Free Therapies offers professional and affordable live video streaming counseling and coaching services from the comfort of your own home. Sessions offered in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Go to our website at www.soul-free.com and book your first session today.
The Opperman Report is brought to you by Aquadam.net. You can give them a call at 707-764-2119. A flooded home is never easy to deal with. You're left with the mess to clean up, the insurance companies to deal with, and not to mention all the memories, the precious memories that are lost in the flood. You can never replace those. And Aquadam can be a tool in your arsenal to protect your home and property from the floodwaters. The cofferdam is filled with water to control water and is reusable as long as it's taken care of. It can protect your home or business from rising floodwaters like a dam, but without the beavers. It can also be used in construction. If you need an area to be dewatered, an Aquadam can do the job. An Aquadam was used at SeaWorld in Orlando for the Mako roller coaster ride during the coaster's construction by dewatering the work area. An Aquadam is now dewatering the work area at San Antonio SeaWorld for their newest roller coaster ride. An Aquadam has been used in many construction projects all around the U.S. and all around the world. Now give Aquadam a call, 707-764-2119. You can look them up online at aquadam.net. You can find them on Facebook at Aquadam Inc. You call them up, you email them, you tell them Ed Opperman sent you, and they're going to take 10% off the price. Aquadam.net, 707-764-2119. PureSoapFlakes.com, 218-568-2525. Have you ever heard of Castile Soap? Pure Soap Flake Company handcrafts fine soap bars, laundry powder, and concentrated soap flakes using organic vegetable oils from their northern Minnesota facility. Bathe your body and wash your clothes with Pure Soap products that are free of fragrance, GMOs, palm oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and synthetic additives. Keep it clean, folks. Pure Soap Flake Company products are kind to living creatures and sensitive skin, safe for drains and waterways, and work great in high-efficiency washers and top and front-loading machines. They have a little promotion going on. Contact them to order some soap. Mention the Opperman Report. You're going to get a free gift. They're going to send a little extra soap, travel size, soap bars and laundry soap, cleaning soap flakes. I've been using that stuff all day long today. Great stuff. Order today at puresoapflakes.com or give them a call, 218-568-2525, 218-568-2525. Pure Soap Flake Company is a proud member of the Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild. If you find yourself in need of legal representation, it can be a very stressful time in your life. In my career, I have dealt with thousands of lawyers, I've dealt with thousands of law firms, and I can confidently recommend to you Keith M. Davidson at kmdlaw.com. Available 24 hours, 7 days a week. Just log into kmdlaw.com. That's kmdlaw.com. Or you can call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. That's 833-4KMD-LAW. Personal injury, wrongful death, STDs, sexual assault, car accidents. They handle it all efficiently and professionally. It doesn't matter how imposing the opposition may be, because the team at kmdlaw.com are battle-tested and fierce. They will not stop until justice prevails. Go to kmdlaw.com or call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. If you're in for the fight of your life, stop screwing around and contact KMD Law.
It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. We are here today, fascinating guest, Kenji Gallo, author of the book Breakshot, A Life in the 21st Century American Mafia. Now, Kenny, while you're there, because a couple of things. Now, it seems like with your blog Breakshot, that you're still sort of tuned into the gossip. You're still talking to people. Did you manage to maintain relationships with a lot of these people, or did you cut off all ties?
So, you know what it is? I maintained relationships with a lot of people. I don't really hang out. I do hang out with some of the guys that have flipped already. I'm friends with guys that have flipped and changed their life. And other people I talk to, because I would talk to them online, or I would just, they would email me, or my phone number, they would call me. I mean, I'm not like in the life anymore, and I don't want to hear. They would just tell me gossip and everything on the street, and then I would get to know it, and then that's why I would write about it all the time. But it's like the same people getting the same trouble over and over. It's like.
Yeah, that is heartbreaking. When you see a friend of yours from 20 years ago and they're still out there doing stuff, man, for nothing. When they had that big case in New York where there was the big roundup, like 100 guys, right? Yeah, and
27 guys.
Yeah, I know. And I see an old friend of mine in there, and you're watching. He was selling a union card for like $3,000, $4,000. And he's taken 10 meetings there's 10 different people involved. He has to cut up all this money, all these different meetings. The guy's making nothing off this stupid deal, and he has to go to prison over it. You know what I mean? Explain to people about that too. Like the daily grind. These guys are such hustlers. They never stop going 24 hours a day trying to hustle a buck.
No, we call it the grind, being in the life. And what it is you don't get vacations. You're on 24/7. I lived in that world. You're always trying to hustle, and you have to have multiple streams of income, and you got to kick back a ton of it. Everyone's got a piece of it. You got a bunch of partners, but that's why you got to hustle so much. And you're just trying to keep your head above water. Then when you get arrested, you got to pay for your attorney. Like I said, it's like bond. It's like money that just comes off. You got to maintain your monthly nut. Mm-hmm. And it's like this. Here's what I've noticed. It's easier when you're younger. But once you get old, if you don't have like a good source of income coming in, like a construction business, a restaurant or something, you're pretty much out there on your own, and you're brokester, and you're in trouble because there is no retirement plan. You know what I mean? It's like it's a grind, and it's pretty sad, man. You see these guys, or when guys get out of prison, they've been there for a long time, and then the family doesn't take care of them. Man. It's like that's what it really started burning me out too. Like a lot of these guys would get out, and they did the time. They did 15 years. I mean, you could have one guy that they told me, what are you doing? I go, I'm going to give him a couple grand, and they're like, why? That guy's a loser. I'm like, dude, he did 11 years for you. He doesn't have anything, man. Maybe his kids need something for Thanksgiving. Like, come on. And I gave it to him anyway, but the guy got mad at me for giving it to him.
What about you? Did you have guys working for you that when they had a case, you would provide them with a lawyer and bail and stuff?
Yeah, I paid for everyone, everything. I gave all my friends and the people that I was supposed to give money all the time. More money than they deserved. I just cut it up because, like I said, really you can't do much with it. Like it's cool. It's cool to have, and like you can do a lot of things when you have it. It gives you like a sense of freedom. But look, I wasn't happy all the time, man. I don't drink and I don't go out and party, so I would wake up really early. I go work out. And I just walk around the streets, and maybe I go to a bookstore, buy a bunch of books, go watch a movie by myself, and then by that time everyone would get back up, and then I go do them. But I was like always like unhappy, man. It didn't matter what I had. I was unhappy. No matter where I was. If I was in Miami, I was at the shore club. It didn't matter where I was. I was always like looking for something, and like none of my relationships were good. It's all phony. It's just like on the surface,
yeah, like
from the outside.
I hear you, man. I hear you. Now, what about? Because I know you moved to Illinois, but before that, where'd you go straight away? I know you went to Toronto, Canada, and then you were bouncing around different units with the FBI. But where did you settle down after that? Back in California?
No, I was I was in Idaho for like 18 months.
Okay.
And like I stick out in Idaho like really bad, like it's not for me. And I finally just signed out. And I had never been on a vacation in my whole life, and so I was like looking around, like where could I go? What could I do? I've never been anywhere. I traveled a bunch of places, but only to commit crimes. You know what I mean? Like I never really took in the time, so I decided to go to Spain. And I was in Barcelona. I went to Barcelona, Madrid. I stayed in Barcelona for a long time, and then Ibiza, and then I went to Italy. I traveled all over, but I was just writing my book and like training MMA, jiu-jitsu, and I took my time and I was writing, and that's where I really started like really rethinking my life. And then I decided to come back, and I came back to California. I started working in Los Angeles, and then I stayed there, until, and I did the documentaries, I did the movie business, and I did all that. And once I figured that wasn't for me, I started changing. My life started changing. And then when I was in LA, that's when I found Christ. And it was, and like I always resisted it because I always felt like the cons that would come into to when I'm locked up, or the guys that would try to talk to me, they're just like so phony, you know. Like I just like saw through them, and like I just saw these people were like, whenever they get in trouble, they're like, oh, you know, I'm gonna pray and do all this stuff, and it just wasn't for me. And then I was training an actor in California, and I got in an argument with somebody at the gym. And the actor goes, hey, man, let's go to lunch. And I'm like, I got my lunch. He's like, oh, come on, just go. And we sat down, and he's a really cool guy, man. He's on one of my favorite shows. He was on my favorite show at that time, Friday Night Lights. Now he's on a big MMA show. And he's like talking to me, and he said, listen, man, you're a spiritual guy. You know, this other guy's a loser that you're fighting with. You got a lot going for you. You know, have you ever thought about Jesus and about church? And I was like, oh, no, now I'm stuck. I want to be stuck here for like an hour. Yeah. But I like this guy. Like, I like this guy. And the next thing he said to me was, he just told me his own story. That's it, right? And then he stopped. And then I was like, that's it? And then he just like continued on the lunch. Like, that was it. That was it. He never brought it up. And then it made me think, though. I was like, wow, you know, maybe he's right. And so that next week, I told my wife, hey, I'm going to go to church. And she came from a missionary family, and she'd grown up in the church, but she had like fallen off. And she's like, okay. And so we went, and I went to San Marino Community Church in San Marino. And I remember pulling up, and I kept thinking, man, everyone there is going to know that I'm a fraud. Like, I haven't been to church since I'm a kid. You know, I used to go to Lutheran school, and I went to Catholic school. You know, I did my whole thing. And I kept thinking in my head, everyone's going to know I'm a fraud. And so I was so scared, man. I was like, I was more scared to do that than when I wore a wire or was going to hit or anything else. Like, there were times my legs were shaking. I felt like I might pass out in the parking lot for real. And I actually got into church, and we sat down. And then the minute they started singing, I remembered all the words to the songs. I mean, I knew what they're talking about. And then the scripture was like stuff that I recognized, and it started meaning to me. Like, and it just hit me. And then, like, at that point, I just felt like everything was lifted off my shoulders. And then after that, I mean, my whole life changed. I mean, that night was it. And I've never looked back. I mean, that's why I just couldn't be in LA. I just couldn't be in that drag anymore. It just wasn't important to me because I got out of the life, but I was still involved with the money. Like, I wanted money.
I tell you, man, I love you. I love you. Let me ask a question. What denomination was that church?
It's a community church. It's actually a Presbyterian church.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what denomination are you in now?
I'm just going to a community church, like a Bible church. That's what I go to now. Yeah,
I got saved. It was in 1989, I guess it was, right? On my birthday. Exactly 19 days ago on my birthday. Okay. And guess what, man? I was out on bail. Okay. The day I got saved. Okay. I went to the altar call. I got saved on my birthday. Just getting out on bail. So, dude, I tell you, we have a lot in common. Whether you can imagine. You know, that's just beautiful. I love that. Now, so now you're in a church now. Do you speak at churches as well?
Yeah. I mean, the first thing I did, like when I was at San Marino Church, I just wanted to like go and fit in. So I used to go to Bible study, and then like little by little, I would tell people like a little bit of my story. You know what I mean? And people were interested, and I just tell them the more of it. And then now I speak a lot. Like I go to, I spoke at a couple churches. I'm going to start like when I have my book come out. But I think my ministry basically is like, so far has been just training people, and I meet those kids that might be on the edge. I meet a lot of them because I'm like go to MMA gyms and I go to different boxing gyms and I spar. But I meet these kids, and I just say I'm a Christian. I don't have to say anything else, and they see how I don't have to preach to them. I just like this is how I act. This is how my life is. This is how I change my life. Guys hear me on the radio, like I was on Van Cow, whatever. I was on Jason Ellis. They hear me and they know, and I tell everyone I'm a Christian. Even if they cut part of it out, some of it will get through. And some of these kids hear me, and then I can help them. And I help people that like change their lives by their eating and their health. And that's what I'm starting to do. And like I'm gonna really gear up next year. I'm going to Israel next year, and then when I get back, I'm gonna really start really go speak and really get out there. I just don't want. It's not like a business. I want to make it like, because this is what I do. This is what I believe. Like everything I write, like about change, do everything. It worked for me. So I'm just trying to say, like, hey, I can't guide your life, but I can show you how I did. Maybe it'll make your life better. Because I think a lot of people, these guys think they have no hope.
Yeah.
They don't see a way out, and they think like, oh, if I become a Christian, everything's going to be great. It's not. But I don't have to worry about anything anymore. Life's hard, but I know that like God's timing's perfect. I'm going to be okay. Like it will all work out. And whatever's like, no matter how much I want something, it might not be right for me right now. It'll be something else will come along. It'll be better. I'm going to be fine. And it gives you that peace because it's not all yourself, man. You can't do it all yourself. And so now I'm going to, like I used to speak at colleges and I spoke at Las Vegas, the library a couple times there, big events and like writers' conferences. And I'm just like, I got burned out on it because I didn't feel like I'm helping anybody. Yeah, people are like writing about it and they're looking at it, but they're not like kicking in. Like when I'm like, a lot of people didn't like my book because I told the truth about these guys. It's grinding. The life sucks. There's no happy endings in port or the mob. There's no old drug dealers. You know what I mean? There's a reason. It's not good, and you're not going to have a happy life. And I wrote something on Facebook, and people started attacking me because I said there's no success stories in crime. There's nobody. There's no success. And everybody goes, "What do you mean?" They start naming all these guys, and I'm like, Pablo Escobar dead. This guy, like Anthony Ricardo. I go, yeah, he died. Like he's under indictment, basically. The feds are here. His daughter's an alcoholic. This, and this, and like, there is no. They think money is going to bring happiness and success, and it doesn't. It's not about that. There's more, and so I try to explain that to people, and people they just don't like it. Like they don't like the way I talk in my book. Look, I'm a professional fighter. I'm a professional kickboxer. I'm a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Unless you're like, I train with the top guys in the world, world champions. I've been in the ring with them. I've been in the cage. Do you think that a normal guy like Teddy Persico is really going to? I mean, really, not going to happen. Not today, not tomorrow, not in a million years. And they just don't understand like how much like a professional boxer like hitting you compared to a normal person who knew the difference. It's not even. It's a joke. And they like when I talk like that, they get like, "Oh, you think you're like this?" Well, it's true. It's not like I think. I just know. I train. If you train like 3 to 4 hours a day to overcome something, you're going to beat it. You know what I mean? And it's just that people just didn't like it, and they couldn't get that like that I could write, but they didn't understand that like that they're like, "Oh, you work with Matthew." Well, Matthew never wrote a book. He's like a 22-year-old kid. He didn't go to school for writing. We just looked at other books and other authors. Like I like Cormac McCarthy and some other writers, and we just looked at how they wrote their book and structured it. Like it's not rocket science. Science is easy. Just figure it out. You start looking at grammar books, you can figure it out, and you just do it. And we did it. And now Matt has a career. I have a career. Like I have a career writing screenplay.
Yeah, is it Matthew Randazzo? You hooked him up with Johnny Farado?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did that come? Okay, so now your next book is going to be about motivation, your Christianity, and how to stay out of trouble, and how to turn your life around, right?
Yeah, basically how I changed everything, and about like my Christian journey, and how everything unfolds in life. Yeah, like that. It's pretty much done. It's all edited. I want to add like about 5,000 more words to it. And I'm just trying to figure out how I want to end it. That's all.
Okay, as soon as you're done, give me a call. We'll put you right back on the air. But now, are you familiar with the Daniel fast?
The what?
See, man, I knew it. You got to look into this. It's called the Daniel fast. It's from the book of Daniel in the Bible. It's a Christian fast. And what you do, 21 days, no meat, no fish, no alcohol, no coffee, no cigarettes, 21 days, just fruits, nuts, and berries. No white bread, no white rice. And I got to tell you, man, you'll feel stronger than you ever did in your life. And it's a great way to kickstart when you want to break through on something. I don't know if you do any fasting. I did a lot of fasting and prayer. But this is a great way if you want to kickstart a chapter of your life. Daniel fast. You can Google it, Daniel fast. Look it up. Great spiritual fast.
The funny thing is that like 90% of that stuff, everything you say, that's what I eat anyway.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I don't drink anything. I don't smoke. I don't do anything like that. I just the only thing I would have to cut out would be meat, but everything else that's the staple of my diet. That's very.
How about coffee?
So
coffee? You drink coffee?
Well, yeah, I drink coffee, but it wouldn't be like not a big deal for me.
For me, that's one of my big problems. I start drinking coffee, I get so lazy. I start back again 2 weeks later. I feel like crap. I can't get up in the morning, can't do crap. So I've done a Daniel fast for 100. I think it was 130 days. I did the longest time just recently. Yeah, I know. I'm going to go back because I already feel I'm losing it. Great stuff. Very encouraging stuff. Now, tell us about what can we find in Johnny Fratto's book, because that's not even out yet. I'm looking forward to hearing that.
Yeah, it's well, what it is like when I was coming out with my book, I had done an interview somewhere, I don't even remember, and Johnny Fratto contacted me. The book was even out, and he contacted me through, I think through Facebook or something, and then I ended up calling him, and then I met with him up in Beverly Hills, and he asked me if I could remove some people in my book. And well, since the book came in at 138,000 words, we needed to cut it down to like 30,000 words. That was pretty easy because it was just too big. So I ended up taking out the people that he wanted me to take out. It didn't really have anything to do with the story anyway, not the narrative that I was telling. So I took him out, and then I became friendly with him, and he was on Howard Stern, and we just became, friendly. And I used to go eat with him, go up and have coffee with him, and go hang out in Beverly Hills whenever I was around. And I used to go to his house, and then he wanted to write a book, and he was working with a guy named Neil Strauss. So I hooked him up with Matthew Randazzo, and they hit it off. They came down. Matthew did the book, and then Neil Strauss, his publishing imprint closed, and then Johnny Fratto didn't want to put out the book anymore, and then it was like tied up. Like they owe the publishing company money for the advance. And then Johnny Fratto passed away last year, 2 years ago. And when he passed away, Johnny Fratto Jr. talked to Matt, and they decided to buy it back and then put it out. And so it talks about Johnny Fratto's childhood, about how his dad, was with Al Capone the whole life, like with Rocky Marciano, hanging around all these people all the time, the Chicago outfit guys, his cousin, Rudy's in the outfit, and just all the stuff, and then all the way through Stern and all the stuff that all the celebrities that Johnny hung out with in California, and even to Joey Merlino, the boss of Philadelphia, came to Johnny's house in Beverly Hills. So all that's going to be in the book. And I think it comes out today, I'm pretty sure.
Now, are you self-publishing these books through CreateSpace?
No, my other book came out through Phoenix Book. It's sort of Matt.
Okay.
Matt made a deal. We made a deal with Phoenix Books in Beverly Hills, and my hardcover came out in Phoenix Books, and then my other book, then Breakshot came out came out through Simon Schuster, the mass market paperback, and then we had a lawsuit with I can't really talk about it, but I had a lawsuit. I won back my rights, and now I put it out on my own.
Yeah, I always recommend that too, because you're right, man. These publishers, they take everything, and they don't give a correct accounting. You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing. When we went to the lawsuit, they showed one thing to the judge, which was like really low. Wait, listen to this. So I just go on Amazon. I just went on Amazon, and I just looked up their author thing, and I got the book scan numbers, and it was like 10 times just on Amazon what they sold. 10 times, and the judge goes, "Well, how'd you get this?" And I told him, "I got it from Amazon. Look, here, I'll show you if you really want." He goes, No. And he asked them, how does he have this and you don't have? And they're like, well, and he goes, "You have 6 lawyers working on this and no one can tell me." He goes, No. So, yeah, I literally, and I have to tell you, this is how I'll leave it, is I never got paid a dime.
Yeah. No,
I did later.
If you're a guy that can get your own publicity, because if no one knows who you are, sure, you need a publisher to get the book out there. Yeah. But if you're a guy that can get your own publicity, you can call up anybody, get on the radio. You don't need them for that, man. You can turn down interviews. So you don't need those guys.
Well, I mean, like I've been on all these shows. I've been in Vogue. I was in Vogue. I got a 6-page thing in Vogue.
Right.
I've been to Sweden. I've been on their TV. I've been on Swedish TV shows. I'm on Sweden did a documentary on me too, and. Yeah, I don't really need them anymore. And besides, this time, the thing is this: like, I talked to my manager, my agent, and when they read my new book, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is really good." But what the problem is? And I said, "What?" And they're like, "You're going to alienate 50% of your audience. You should tone down the Christian stuff." And I'm like, "But that's who it's for." And I want it for the the guy that may be locked up, or the person, the girl that's in a bad situation that isn't a Christian for a reason because of the subject matter, and they're like, wow, okay, this guy can do it, I can do it too. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking just to sell books. So that's what I'm doing now. So I'm probably going to end up, unless I get a publisher that wants to do what I want to do and doesn't want to change it, then I'll just go through that. But I have to be honest, and I had offers, and I'm going to look at them.
Yeah,
so.
But that is so true, and it really is heartbreaking that they do try and tell you to tone down the Christianity and stuff, which is what are they kidding me? And all these people too. In your past, you talk about the people in the porn business and these big gangsters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When you look back at their lives now, they all had that emptiness. They just had an emptiness in them.
You're always you need something inside. Every single one of them have that, and you don't understand. Like they want to cut this out. This is the most important thing. Every guy that I had, and I feel bad for him, man. Like I actually pray for guys that I used to know that have passed away. I'm like, they died not knowing any better. So
now you mentioned how Johnny Fratto got a hold of you and he asked you to take some names out of the books. Did any of your old friends and associates contact you as well and say, "Hey, come on, Kenny, can you just drop my name out of the book because it's causing me headaches"? Anything like that?
Well, some of my old friends and associates would this is the deal. Like I didn't hurt a lot of people.
Right.
Okay. I didn't hurt them in the book, and I didn't hurt them with the FBI because they weren't part of the investigation. I purposely avoided them when I was wearing the wire. You got to use. There's guys that really deserve it, and there's guys that don't. And there's people that are just stupid that just don't know any better. And they never did anything to me, and I didn't hurt them. And there's a lot of people there, and there's people that, like another friend of mine who became he's a minister, a pastor down in Orange County, and he was with the Medellin cartel. He's written his own book called From the Cartel to Christ. He's with the Medellin cartel, and he ended up getting indicted for selling 1,000 kilos of cocaine. I think he got arrested selling 1,000 kilos. And he was actually going to sell more, but they only caught him with 1,000. Didn't have a truck big enough. Anyway, he did 17 years, and he got out on parole. And he had sent me like a bunch of pictures, and I was going to put him in my book because he was a part of my life. But then because I had to cut it out, it just didn't fit into the narrative. And then later on, him and I met, which was pretty funny because we had at El Pollo Loco, which you know what that is, right? Sure. We used to go eat at sushi. We used to both have Corvettes and pull up and be valet park. So we're meeting at lunch at El Pollo Loco. We pull up. I have a truck and he has a truck. We just laugh at each other. We go in and we're sitting there. And then he told me, I didn't know that. He told me that he's a Christian, that he became a minister, and all the stuff that he's doing. And I was like, wow. So, it comes full circle. But he was one of the guys, he's like, he didn't put me in the book. And I go, yeah, I know, you just didn't fit. He goes, 1,000 kilos of cocaine didn't fit. I go, yeah. I wasn't sure if you're going to get killed for it, so I just didn't want to do it. And so, yeah, there's other people who reached out, and I didn't put people in. And, there's things that I toned down in there for other people, too.
I got you. Now, what about, because for a time you were back in California, in Hollywood and L.A. and stuff like that. Did you bump into anybody that you had hard feelings with who came and said, maybe they're not going to pull out a gun and shoot you in the middle of a street, but, they're going to give you a dirty look. You know what I'm saying, man? They're going to complain to you and say, hey, man, hey, you run into anybody like that?
Well, I had two incidences. One, I was at a restaurant on Sunset Boulevard called Craving, and I was with a girl, and I was eating, and across from me sat down a guy from Brooklyn who's a neighbor of the Persico, street guy. Mm. And he looks at me, and he's shocked. And then I told my girl, I go, I'm just going to have a problem here in a few minutes, but I'll deal with it. So I slipped my steak knife underneath my napkin, and then his girlfriend got up to do it. I told my girlfriend, go to the bathroom. And so I went up to him, and I'm like, hey, man, we have a problem? And he goes, no, not at all, man. How are you doing? He gives me a hug. And I'm like, oh, it's cool, and he's like telling me what everyone else is doing. And I go, hey, as long as I'm here eating, you leave that phone on the table. And we'll be cool. And then I go, I don't care what you do when I leave. He goes, no, it's not like that. It's not like that. And then I sat back down, and we left. And guess what? He never told anyone that he saw me. And I would have heard it right away because, they would have said, why didn't you do anything for me?
Right.
And then, so he didn't. And then the only other time was I was in L.A. and I was training someone at the gym in the in the ring. I was training 2 people, actually. And a guy came up to me who's an actor, pretty well known. And he said, "Hey, I got to talk to you for a second." And I go, "Yeah, what?" I lean down. And he goes, "Hey, your friend in Beverly Hills isn't happy about what you say about him." And I go, "What friend in Beverly Hills? I don't, who are you talking about?" And he goes, "Donnie Shacks." And I go, "Oh, so him." I go, "I didn't like him when I was on the street, and I don't like him now. So he's got a problem with me. I'll tell him to come deal with it." And the guy goes, "He doesn't appreciate it." And I go, "Okay, if I see Dan, I'm going to smack his head real hard." He's like, "He hit an old man," and I go, "Dude, he's threatening me." And then he walks away, and what he didn't realize is the 2 guys I was training are in the FBI, and they heard it.
Oh, great. Wonderful! He made a problem for himself. Yeah, I didn't even need to.
Right, and I go, and I told him, I told the actor, I go, "You're an idiot." They jackpotted you. They got you to make a threat to a federal witness, you idiot. And so the FBI wanted to press charges. They're like, "We're going to do something." I'm like, "Listen, don't. I like this guy. The actor, he's just an idiot, and it's not a big deal. It wasn't a real threat. It wasn't like he was just passing a message. He doesn't know. We got found." So he didn't, but that was the only time. And then that was it.
Okay.
Other than that, nothing.
Okay, and you still get tips and gossip and stuff like that in order to run the Breakshot Blog.
Yeah, I mean, like I talk to people on the street, and I know a lot of the guys. Like I said, and like it's hard, like for some of the guys to understand like how I changed my life and like how much like I'm still like that same old guy. So talk to me, call me, and remember what they're talking about. They don't consider like big news. You know what I mean? Like getting in trouble. So they tell me things. Okay.
Now I saw too on YouTube that you were making out a statement for being a gay activist for gay rights.
Yeah, that was before, and not anymore.
Oh, really? Okay, I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. I thought when they first wanted to get the right to, they wanted the right to get married. I thought, okay, they're just going to go and they want to get like a civil union status. Fine, cool. But marriage is between a man and a woman. Okay, it's it. I don't care what the Supreme Court says, and I don't care who doesn't like me for what I'm going to say, but I don't really care. It's between a man and a woman. If you want to get a civil union, you want to be married, fine, but you can't force people to do stuff that they don't want to do, and that's part of religious freedom. It's part of and I don't care about the Supreme Court. It doesn't matter. It matters. I mean, the definition of marriage has been the same for thousands of years. Okay, you show me an animal that can marry. They're not going to be procreating anymore. It's just not going to happen. And you can't force other people. You can't force your lifestyle on other people. And that's the problem. Like, I don't care that you're gay. Do you care that I'm a heterosexual? No. I mean, what am I going to do now? I'm going to go around and I'm going to say, "Oh, I'm heterosexual." No, it's your sexual orientation. It's not your race. It's not. No matter what anyone says, it's not. So that's where I'm at with that.
And now a word from our sponsors. If you find yourself in need of legal representation, it can be a very stressful time in your life. In my career, I have dealt with thousands of lawyers, I've dealt with thousands of law firms, and I can confidently recommend to you Keith M. Davidson at kmdlaw.com. Available 24 hours, 7 days a week. Just log into kmdlaw.com. That's kmdlaw.com. Or you can call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. That's 833-4KMD-LAW. Personal injury, wrongful death, STDs, sexual assault, car accidents. They handle it all efficiently and professionally. It doesn't matter how imposing the opposition may be, because the team at kmdlaw.com are battle-tested and fierce. They will not stop until justice prevails. Go to kmdlaw.com or call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. If you're in for the fight of your life, stop screwing around and contact KMD Law.
Are you ready to change your life, but don't know how to start? Is your stress and worries keeping you awake at night? Have you been battling grief, anxiety, or depression all alone? Have you lost touch with your own sense of being or spirituality? Soul Free Therapies offers professional and affordable live video streaming counseling and coaching services from the comfort of your own home. Sessions offered in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Go to our website at www.soul-free.com and book your first session today.
The Opperman Report is brought to you by Aquadam.net. You can give them a call at 707-764-2119. A flooded home is never easy to deal with. You're left with the mess to clean up, the insurance companies to deal with, and not to mention all the memories, the precious memories that are lost in the flood. You can never replace those. And Aquadam can be a tool in your arsenal to protect your home and property from the floodwaters. The cofferdam is filled with water to control water and is reusable as long as it's taken care of. It can protect your home or business from rising floodwaters like a dam, but without the beavers. It can also be used in construction. If you need an area to be dewatered, an Aquadam can do the job. An Aquadam was used at SeaWorld in Orlando for the Mako roller coaster ride during the coaster's construction by dewatering the work area. An Aquadam is now dewatering the work area at San Antonio SeaWorld for their newest roller coaster ride. An Aquadam has been used in many construction projects all around the U.S. and all around the world. Now give Aquadam a call, 707-764-2119. You can look them up online at aquadam.net. You can find them on Facebook at Aquadam Inc. You call them up, you email them, you tell them Ed Opperman sent you, and they're going to take 10% off the price. Aquadam.net, 707-764-2119. PureSoapFlakes.com, 218-568-2525. Have you ever heard of Castile Soap? Pure Soap Flake Company handcrafts fine soap bars, laundry powder, and concentrated soap flakes using organic vegetable oils from their northern Minnesota facility. Bathe your body and wash your clothes with Pure Soap products that are free of fragrance, GMOs, palm oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and synthetic additives. Keep it clean, folks. Pure Soap Flake Company products are kind to living creatures and sensitive skin, safe for drains and waterways, and work great in high-efficiency washers and top and front-loading machines. They have a little promotion going on. Contact them to order some soap. Mention the Opperman Report. You're going to get a free gift. They're going to send a little extra soap, travel size, soap bars and laundry soap, cleaning soap flakes. I've been using that stuff all day long today. Great stuff. Order today at puresoapflakes.com or give them a call, 218-568-2525, 218-568-2525. Pure Soap Flake Company is a proud member of the Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild.
It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, but would you exclude gays from your ministry?
No, I wouldn't exclude them, but I'm not gonna. I wouldn't get married. I wouldn't have them marry or anything. But I have gay friends. I have a gay relative.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that I'm condoning that lifestyle. It's their own lifestyle. They look. It's not my job to judge anyone. It's not me. I'm not the Holy Spirit. I'm not God. That they have to meet their own maker, and they have to make up their own mind at the end of all of this. Not me. So I love every human being like for what they are, a human being. I judge everyone like for what they are. But it's not my place to put my beliefs on them.
Gotcha.
Just like they shouldn't put their beliefs on me. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to go and like this. I don't have to see it constantly in the news and see it on TV shows and force down my throat when it's in reality it's only 22 million people out of 350 million. So you can't force your beliefs on me, just like I wouldn't force like this. If someone wants to be a criminal, man, you're gonna like this. I don't smoke and I don't drink. I'll hang out with you if you smoke and drink. That's yourself. I don't have anything against it. Like you want to listen to music, whatever you want to do, that's up to you. It's not what I do. I don't smoke and I don't drink. You know, I prefer not to like watch stuff as a ton of profanity in it, just because I live that life and I don't want to do it anymore. It doesn't mean that you're any worse than me. I'm not judging. It's like your own. You have to do everything on your own. You have to be responsible for yourself. I'm responsible for me. I'm in my own little shell, and the only person's life I can really, really change is myself. I can show everyone else how I live my life, and if you want to do something like that, then that's good for you. But other than that. And that's kind of thing that kind of makes me mad about some of the Christians too, when they put all this judgment.
Right.
You know, that's what turns off people from church and from Christ is that the judgment. Immediately when you look at someone, you're like, oh, you're listening to rap, or you live this lifestyle. So, well, that's the kind of people that Jesus actually became friends with. Tax collectors, bad people. Like, if you're already good, you're not the person we're looking to help. So. That's where I'm at.
Let me ask you this now. It's a little bit changing the topic.
Okay.
Because originally I saw a documentary about you. I'm not sure which one it was. It might be the one I watched today. It was a couple of years ago, at least 4 years ago. And I said, this guy would be a great guest on the show. And I sent you a Facebook friend request. then it was really weird. This week, I guess it was like Monday, I started thinking I needed a guest. And I said, how about that guy, Kenji Gallo? He's an interesting guy, and maybe I'll contact him. But, I was lazy. I didn't do it. And not even 15 minutes later, I get an email from Ted Rubenstein saying, hey, would you like to talk to Kenji Gallo? Okay. It was like the same day, out of the blue. Now, it's kind of weird. Okay.
He emailed me out of the blue.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, we didn't have any conversation before that. He goes, hey, man, would you ever do Ed Opperman's show, the Opperman Report or something? And I'm like, I don't know, heard it, but isn't that guy my Facebook friend? And I looked, and you were. And I was like, okay. I mean, I didn't know why he did it, but I thought maybe, you had something, you asked him to do it or something, but I thought we were already Facebook friends.
No, we were Facebook friends,
yeah. And then he asked me, and then I just said, yeah, and then that was it. And I just, was it last week or the week before last? I had done I did Man Cow show in Chicago with Andrew DiDonato, another friend of mine, and he was in the Gambinos, and then Frank Calabrese Jr. And we had done that, and I was kind of mad about that because the guy just kept cutting me off, and he was just rude, and he didn't let us talk, and he's just making fun of us kind of, and I just didn't like him. And so I was kind of upset. But when he said, and I looked up your thing, and I'm like, yeah, I'll do his. Way better, more. And because I also saw he had this thing. I listened to one of them and said that he had conspiracy theories and stuff. And I don't know, you got my email, Grassy Knoll.
Right, that's what I was going to say. And it says Grassy Knoll, right?
Yeah,
right.
Do you know what that's about?
Yeah,
okay,
JFK.
I'll tell you. I spent thousands of dollars, and I spent so much time on my own money. This is when I'm still a criminal. On researching the JFK assassination. Okay, I made it my goal to try to meet people that are involved. Yeah. And so I used to go down to it's a ziggurat building in Orange County to look at the Nixon papers and look at all these papers to try to just to figure out stuff and get connections. And so I wrote Chuck Harrelson in prison, Woody Harrelson's dad. He killed Judge Wood. He was supposed to be the assassin on the Grassy Knoll. I wrote him these letters. He wrote me back this cryptic stuff. I went when Russell D. Matthews got arrested in Vegas for beating up Bob Stupak. I'm the one that told John Smith who he was and how he was, because when Chuck Harrelson got arrested for killing the judge, he was high on cocaine. He had Russell Matthews' card in his pocket, and Russell D. Matthews was the first guy that went and saw Jack Ruby after he killed Oswald.
Oh, really?
And he was connected. Yeah, he was connected in Havana, and he ran a gang called the Whole Estate Green Gang, and he was big time gambler, big time racketeer down in Dallas. Really connected to Carlos Marcello. So and Chuck Harrelson killed the judge on behalf of guys that were connected to Carlos Marcello, and they had sealed all the court records for the case, the weed case down in New Orleans in the Carlos Marcello case. They still haven't opened those records up when he talks about Kennedy. And what I was trying to do is when I was still in the mob, I was trying to get buy the transcripts from Sam Scorantino because he was still alive, and I wanted to buy them. They had them in a garage, and I wanted to buy all of them because it actually had the transcripts from them. And he ended up dying before I could get them, but that was my plan. So, yeah, I have a big interest in that.
Okay.
So that's what
yeah, because, Frank Sturgis, too, knew Marcello in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've had Frank Sturgis' nephew, Jim Hunt, on my show. He was the alibi for Frank Sturgis on the day of the assassination, and he's been on my show. Now, what's the story with Russell Matthews beat up Stupak? For what reason?
They got in a fight because Stupak has something to do with the horseshoe or something after he was saying something bad about the Binions.
Okay.
He went into Piero's and beat him up one night. It's in Vegas papers. It was a while back. And it's like a 90-year-old man beating up another 80-year-old man, basically. It's what it was.
Yeah, that wasn't that long ago. No, it wasn't that long. And also, wait a second, but didn't Matthews have his two nephews with him or something like that when Stupak got beat up?
I think he had one of the Binion kids with him.
Yeah.
But what it was is no one knew who Russell Matthews was first, and I was like, "Oh my God!" So I told John Smith who he was.
I didn't know there was a connection with that. That Russell Matthews visited Ruby. First of all, what did Harrelson's father say to you?
He said that he was going to write his own book when he got out of prison, or if when he won his appeal, if he got out of appeal, because he was in Supermax, and he said that I asked him a question. I asked him like what kind of like soda he likes and everything, because they found behind the stockade fence at the grassy knoll, they found some grape soda and stuff, and he said grape soda. So he wrote a couple other things. So I figured that he knew what I was talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, look at this. This guy was a sniper. He killed a sitting federal judge. He got $250,000 in Vegas at the Horseshoe in 1980, which is like $1.5 million today, up front. And those guys gave it to him because he was the shooter on the grassy knoll. Okay, he's one of the tramps that was there. His wife identified him at the time. They did one of those facial recognition things. It's him.
Well,
so I don't know.
Are you familiar with A.J. Weberman's book on the Three Tramps?
I think I have it. Yeah.
Yeah, because AJ's the first guy to find that the stuff on the Three Tramps, and I knew AJ when I was a teenager in New York when AJ was selling hash and marijuana for the yippies. Okay.
Oh man.
So all this comes in full circle. I tell you, this is pretty interesting stuff. Now, yeah, because and the AJ's latest book, by the way, and I just did an interview with him just like 2 weeks ago. It's up in the member section. It's great stuff, man. What about the Fleming, Jerry Fleming? Have you looked into him?
No, but I'm going to tell you, there's one guy that's the real puzzle in this, and yeah. I tried to find him. I tried to find out anything about him, which is he's a real red herring. Eugene Hale Brady. He got caught at coming out of the Daltex building, and he had an office in Marcelo Carlos Marcello building in New Orleans.
Really?
He's a guy. He's supposed to be connected to the L.A. mob. And like this, I never met one person. I actually asked Pete Milano if he knew Eugene Hale Brading or anyone named Brading or anything close to that, and he never did. The guy who lived at La Costa, he died there, but I can never find anything on this guy, Eugene Hale Brading. And listen, not only did he get caught outside the JFK assassination, he got caught less than a mile away after Robert Kennedy got killed.
Get out of here.
Yep, same guy. So this is how much I went out to, and I really investigated.
Well, then what is your theory? What do you think? Who were the players involved in JFK?
Well, I think that the CIA hated him, and the government hated him. Like J. Edgar Hoover hated him, and the CIA, because the only person that could change the parade route would be Cable's brother, obviously in Dallas. I think Oswald clearly worked for the CIA, but he had connections to Carlos Marcello through his uncle. And because you couldn't just leave the Marines with no money. He had no money. He didn't make enough money. Get to Russia. How do you get there?
Right.
You take a plane. Okay, they never talk about this, and then defect, and then just come back with a wife and kid. You can't even do that now. We have open borders. Basically, it's not going to happen. So he comes back. They get him the job, and he's just in the right place at the right time. They use him as a chump. They used Carlos Marcello because he's pissed for being dropped off in the Guatemalan jungle. Some CIA guys down there, they sheep dip Oswald down in New Orleans, heading out those spare place for Cuba stuff on purpose. Then Marcello sets it up. They even have backup shooters, which is probably where Sturgis and the rest of them come in, because they got to make sure it happens. Oswald probably didn't even fire a shot, man. I think that the actual shots came probably from the Daltex building, and the other one came from the grassy knoll, and that's the end of it. And then they got out of town, and that was pretty much it. And everyone else has died and gone by now. They're never going to solve it.
And the other shooters, you think that Frank Sturgis was one of the other shooters?
I believe it. Probably crossfire, just like in that's what Jim Garrison thought.
Yeah.
I mean, David Ferry worked for the CIA 100%, but he also worked for Carlos Marcello. He picked him up in Guatemala.
Yeah, Jerry Fleming was one of the guys that was involved in. Jerry Fleming was one of the guys who was involved in the Fair Play for Cuba, getting Oswald involved in that. Also, too, AJ did another book recently called The Oswald Code, where, get this, he got exclusive copy of Oswald's address book. His coded address book. Yeah, and he talked to Marita Lorenz, because he's friends with Marita Lorenz still to this day, and he knew what names to look for, and all those names are in there, man. That group that Fleming was in, that ICERN group that Fleming was involved in. Yeah, so it's all in there, man. But there was one. You know who else I had on the show too that no one's else interviewed? Doug Caddy, who sat next to E. Howard Hunt. the day that was sitting next to Howard Hunt in his office over there, the day that Kennedy was shot, and also was the first attorney for the what do you call it, the Watergate burglars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, So, how much do you make of all that, like the connection with the Watergate burglars and JFK and stuff? It seems to be the same group over and over again.
It's the same group. The plumbers, the same group of people. It's the same thing. But it's like back then the CIA could get away with it. It wasn't all this like people like just giving up information like they do today. It's like they could actually keep it secret. So they were tight. And it is the same group. That's why I wanted those Nixon papers so bad. I wanted to know, what Nixon was involved in. And
what about Iran-Contra? Have you looked into Iran-Contra?
No, not really. Not as no. Like I heard a lot of it about the cocaine dealing and everything else. I mean, who I used to know was
Sal Reale.
Who I've done a couple of things. Well, I went with Freeway Rick Ross and some other people like that.
Okay, I had Freeway Rick Ross on the show. What's your connection to Freeway Rick Ross?
I know that I knew the Blancos, and he knew Griselda Blanco, and I met him through the Blanco kid. So that's how I met him.
So you met him before he got arrested?
No, I met him afterwards.
After he got arrested. Okay.
But I was somewhere when he talked to her on the cell phone, so I know that he knew.
Okay.
Because I talked to her the same day, so I know.
Yeah,
I was there.
It's a small world, It really is.
It is, and it's the same players, and if you really look at it, it's like the same people.
Yeah. Because even Sturgis was involved in Iran-Contra too, and I tell you, over and over, man, same freaking guys over and over. It's just amazing. Hey, let me ask you a question. This is a crazy question out of the blue, but it's on my notes here. What do you think of this take-a-knee business?
Oh well, I think it's garbage.
Really?
I mean, because look, here's the deal. I was a criminal. I'm this and that, but first of all, I was in the system pretty much my whole life, over 20 years. Never met an innocent person, not one time, not once. Never met an innocent person incarcerated. Never met an innocent criminal. They all by themselves. But listen to this. I ran crazy. I shot people. I carried a gun. I blew people up. I did all kinds of stuff. I never got shot by a cop. Want to know why? Because I comply. They kicked in my door. The DEA kicked in my door. The FBI kicked in my door. You know what I did? Sat there. Dealt with it. Let my lawyer deal with it. I got a complaint. And the reality is this. Okay, first of all, black people commit 67% of all homicides in the United States. That's a fact. And they're a small percentage population. The chances of them getting killed by a white guy are very slim. It's mostly black on black crime. Second of all, it's not cops. There's only I think 400 or 500 black people that get killed by cops a year, and only 100 of them or 70 of them are unarmed. And out of those unarmed, they count guys with a knife that are unarmed. So it's crap. And people, that if someone has a knife or a weapon and they're under 20 feet from you, before you could pull out that weapon, they could come and slash you and kill you. So you have a split second to decide that. And and what is black is now the only race? Look at me, man. I'm half Japanese. My dad was in a prison camp because he was an American citizen, but because he's of Japanese descent. In 1944, in 1941, he went in there. His whole family did. They lost everything. None of them complained. Not one. None. You just have to get up, man. It's not a systematic oppression. If it was systematic oppression, those guys wouldn't be making $10 million a year on that thing. It wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. You wouldn't be playing a child's game and getting paid that kind of money. It's not oppression. Okay? If anything, it's unfair to everyone else. Okay, let's see. You can get into Harvard with an 890 SAT score, but if you're Asian and you have to have a 1600, how's that? If you're white, you got to be way up there? I mean, come on. That's not fair. That equal opportunity is not equal opportunity. Equal opportunity means like this. You take a test. You want to be a fireman? You take a test. I take a test. We both get the highest score. They throw it in their fishbowl. They pull it out. That's who gets the job.
So what do you want to leave us with?
I just want to leave you that, look, man, I lived this life. I did it, but everyone can change. Change is out there. It's not too late.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Take it easy.
And now a word from our sponsors, emailrevealer.com. People ask me all the time, hey, Ed, are you still a private investigator? I sure am. Go to emailrevealer.com. We handle adoption investigations, infidelity investigations, where you give us your spouse's email address. We trace it back to online dating websites, catch them cheating online. Email tracing, locate or identify somebody from as little as an anonymous email address. Someone owe you money? Back child support? We can find that deadbeat, locate his hidden assets, locate his hidden bank accounts, find his current place of employment, and even assist you in obtaining a judgment and recover that judgment for you. Emailrevealer.com, digital forensics, computer forensics, cell phone forensics, recover deleted text messages, create a report that you can use in court. Emailrevealer.com, 800-572-9762. The Opperman Report is brought to you by Aquadam.net. You can give them a call at 707-764-2119. A flooded home is never easy to deal with. You're left with the mess to clean up, the insurance companies to deal with, and not to mention all the memories, the precious memories that are lost in the flood. You can never replace those. And Aquadam can be a tool in your arsenal to protect your home and property from the floodwaters. The cofferdam is filled with water to control water and is reusable as long as it's taken care of. It can protect your home or business from rising floodwaters like a dam, but without the beavers. It can also be used in construction. If you need an area to be dewatered, an Aquadam can do the job. An Aquadam was used at SeaWorld in Orlando for the Mako roller coaster ride during the coaster's construction by dewatering the work area. An Aquadam is now dewatering the work area at San Antonio SeaWorld for their newest roller coaster ride. An Aquadam has been used in many construction projects all around the U.S. and all around the world. Now give Aquadam a call, 707-764-2119. You can look them up online at aquadam.net. You can find them on Facebook at Aquadam Inc. You call them up, you email them, you tell them Ed Opperman sent you, and they're going to take 10% off the price. Aquadam.net, 707-764-2119.
Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Maybe the facility you manage could establish new revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services. Cart King International can be the answer to your needs. Cart King is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile coffee, food, and retail carts and kiosks. Cart King has been working with clients and corporations across North America for 20 years, providing innovative designs, custom manufacturing, and timely delivery. Carts and kiosks are fun, and so are the dozens of designs on our website. Please visit us today at www.cart-king.com or just call us at 1-877-986-7771 and get your sales rolling.
If you find yourself in need of legal representation, it can be a very stressful time in your life. In my career, I have dealt with thousands of lawyers, I've dealt with thousands of law firms, and I can confidently recommend to you Keith M. Davidson at kmdlaw.com. Available 24 hours, 7 days a week. Just log into kmdlaw.com. That's kmdlaw.com. Or you can call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. That's 833-4KMD-LAW. Personal injury, wrongful death, STDs, sexual assault, car accidents. They handle it all efficiently and professionally. It doesn't matter how imposing the opposition may be, because the team at kmdlaw.com are battle-tested and fierce. They will not stop until justice prevails. Go to kmdlaw.com or call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. If you're in for the fight of your life, stop screwing around and contact KMD Law. PureSoapFlakes.com, 218-568-2525. Have you ever heard of Castile Soap? Pure Soap Flake Company handcrafts fine soap bars, laundry powder, and concentrated soap flakes using organic vegetable oils from their northern Minnesota facility. Bathe your body and wash your clothes with Pure Soap products that are free of fragrance, GMOs, palm oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and synthetic additives. Keep it clean, folks. Pure Soap Flake Company products are kind to living creatures and sensitive skin, safe for drains and waterways, and work great in high-efficiency washers and top and front-loading machines. They have a little promotion going on. Contact them to order some soap. Mention the Opperman Report. You're going to get a free gift. They're going to send a little extra soap, travel size, soap bars and laundry soap, cleaning soap flakes. I've been using that stuff all day long today. Great stuff. Order today at puresoapflakes.com or give them a call, 218-568-2525, 218-568-2525. Pure Soap Flake Company is a proud member of the Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild.
Are you ready to change your life, but don't know how to start? Is your stress and worries keeping you awake at night? Have you been battling grief, anxiety, or depression all alone? Have you lost touch with your own sense of being or spirituality? Soul Free Therapies offers professional and affordable live video streaming counseling and coaching services from the comfort of your own home. Sessions offered in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Go to our website at www.soul-free.com and book your first session today.